When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs. And as always, week after week, we're excited to bring another guest to the show. Our last show, 178, that we recorded, we talked a lot about trusting yourself and using your intuition for you to really be able to change your thoughts, just kind of look at the way that you're doing things. And how perfect is it that today we've got Michele Blood here, and she is just got these experts that we get to bring on our show. I'm truly blessed to have them here because she is going to be talking about what can recalibrating your thoughts do for your life. And if there's a little part of you that might be a complainer, a little part of you that might be a blamer, and you're blaming things on outside forces or any type of outside force that you think is causing something, this is the show for you to listen to today, because we can take that control of our thoughts and change the game, which is going to change the game for your business today. But before we get to Michele, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's show, Ally Spine Center. And what sets our office apart from other offices is our focus and expertise in treating degenerative spinal conditions, including disc disease, bulging herniated disc, spinal stenosis, neuropathy, sciatica, pain, tingling, and numbness in the arms, hands, or leg and feet, as well as the severe chronic pain, neck, and headaches. They specialize in corrective care, not just the treatment of symptoms with physical medicine modalities. And in most cases, they do pre and post images are used to help to determine the structural improvement of the spine. So if you're someone who's suffering from any of those items we talked about and you haven't experienced chiropractic in an integrative corrective care office, then please call them and make an immediate appointment if you're here in Arizona at 480-809-4700. If you live outside of Arizona, please visit allyspinecenter.com and connect with them directly so that they can help you find a corrective care office in your area. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to introduce to you Michele Blood, who is a successful, multi-talented lady. Michele was a successful songwriter and rock singer in Australia. And after a near fatal car accident while in the hospital with many serious injuries, she created positive affirmation songs, which not only healed her body, but also took her to worldwide success. These affirmation songs affect the left and right hemispheres of the brain, lyrics the left hemisphere, and melody and music the right hemisphere. So the new positive messages go straight to the subconscious mind. This is why millions of people worldwide have downloaded her affirmation power songs. These songs cover healing, success, money, joy, confidence, and they uplift the person immediately. Michele, welcome to today's show.
Thank you, Colleen. Great to be here.
All of that from a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling me that you were a successful songwriter and rock singer in Australia. Tell us about that time of your life and who you were then.
Well, I started professionally at the age of 5 on TV on a children's program, and did every sort of entertainment there was. But I realized I just wanted to have, be in a band. So to start with, when I was very young, I just was in cover bands. And then eventually I realized, hey, I can write songs. So I started, experimenting with writing songs. And then I got myself the best lineup. So this time I was the manager of the band, the singer, main songwriter, along with a couple of other guys in the band. And at one stage we toured Australia nonstop for 7 years, not a break. And so, we did videos, and we're with Time Warner And it was such hard work. It's such hard work to be in an Australian rock band as a female, because it's really rough out there. You know, it's really rough out there. And I had to really look after myself. It's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll at all. If you want to continue to keep your voice and keep the band. And sometimes it was like herding cats, but
sure.
But yeah, so that's what happened. That's what I did. And I loved it.
And then were you with your band on the road when you were in the car accident, or was that something outside of the touring and the traveling?
Yeah, we always traveled and toured. This was on our way back from Brisbane. I was with the truck driver this time. We always had someone with the truck driver because we didn't hire permanent truck drivers, because each gig, some gigs would be 3-week residency in a city.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just wanted to make sure, because we didn't have the internet back then. And so we want to make sure the guy would get there with our equipment. So it was my turn this time. I don't know why they ever let me do that, because they should have looked after me better, the guys, but that's not the point. The truck driver, once we got to Sydney, it was winter and he had the heater on. He fell asleep at the wheel and he hit a telephone pole, which happened to be right across from one of the best hospitals in Sydney. So that was pretty amazing. And as the passenger equipment went into me, he wasn't hurt at all, but I had serious injuries. They didn't think I'd survive the night or the next night. Many operations. One was 17.5-hour operation. So that's, you would think that would be the worst thing that could ever happen to an entertainer who's jumping around on stage and dancing every night, doing backflips. God knows what I used to be able to do back in the day. So, you know, but it ended up being the best thing that could ever have happened to me. So if anyone's ever going through emotional breakdowns or pain, physical or mental, you know you can get through it. There's always a reason for these things. There's no accidents in life. We create everything, and it's up to us how we handle those things, whether we go down a rabbit hole of depression or we come out the bright end where the sun shines. And that's what I decided to do.
Yeah, I love that. So how long were you in the hospital from touring and being active and being on stage, and then now you're in a near fatal car crash or truck crash, I guess I should say.
It was fatal. I'm a miracle.
Yeah, right. You might have actually died somewhere along the way.
I didn't.
During a surgery. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so how long were you in the hospital for your recovery? I'm assuming it was a pretty long recovery time.
Over 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you miss music. So you just start playing. When did things shift for you, for where you go from being on stage and singing and having rock and roll really be your driver and writing that music, to being in the hospital? Why did it switch to affirmation songs? Where did that come from? How did that start?
People were sending me and bringing in tapes. If your kids don't know what a tape is, Google it.
I do. I know what an 8-track tape is. That's how old I am.
Well, these are little cassettes.
Severe. Yeah.
You know, and I would listen to audiobooks that they would give me, which I didn't want to do because I wasn't in a positive frame of mind. I was in so much pain. And I was, on a steel plated bed in traction, huge, I pass out every few minutes. The pain was so bad. I won't go through everything. I don't want anyone to lose their breakfast, lunch, or dinner because it's pretty horrific. But somebody put on a tape, which was bizarre to me. It was a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it was Earl Nightingale. I loved the voice, this beautiful baritone speaking voice, because I'm always into sound, of course, being a singer. And so I listened to it because it was just soothing to me, listening to Earl Nightingale. What a voice, reading the book. And I wasn't really interested in multimillionaires in America, businessmen in the 1920s. Why would I give a kook about that? I'm an Australian rock singer, female. But anyway, what happened was there's a chapter where he's talking about Napoleon Hill had a son who was born completely deaf. And he would go into his little son's room every night and do these affirmations, auto-suggestion. You hear perfectly. You grow up to be such a strong, loyal, wonderful man. All these great affirmations every night. By the time the kid was 4, he had 30% hearing, which all the doctors said was impossible. He went on to become one of the most famous entrepreneurs in the hearing aid industry, his son. But, Colleen, when you hear something you've never heard before, because I didn't know what affirmations were back then, and something in the marrow of your bones, you just know that you've just heard truth. You don't know what it is. But so I knew I'd heard truth because it made me go back and think, wow, I have willed myself to be a manager of the band, the singer, get the best players in Australia to work with me, great road crew, loyalty, great agents, great record label. I willed myself to do all of that. And the way I did it, I guess it was affirming and having an intention, that's going to happen. Nothing could stop me. So I always had that in me. That's why I believed if I did affirmations to heal my body, I would be healed. I really believed it. So I started just speaking the affirmations. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend, because Napoleon said it has to be stated in the now, and I am as if it's already happened. And I definitely wasn't healed. I did not love myself. So I thought, great, I've got the perfect affirmation. And I'd say it over and over again, and it wasn't working. And the reason, drum roll, the reason it wasn't working is because we know now from neuroscientists and all the scientific studies that have been done that I love reading about from Johns Hopkins and Berkeley about the doubting mind, the short-term memory. The doubting mind spits it out. I don't believe that. So my mind, I'm in traction. I'm in huge, horrific pain. Doctors telling me if I do walk again, it would be permanent limp, blah, blah, blah. And so I didn't believe it. So the doubting mind spat it out, would not go into the subconscious mind where it has to go to create a new thought. So because then your mind will then tell the body to heal. It's incredibly miraculous how this works. So I had an epiphany about 2 weeks later when I'd given up on doing them. Oh my God, I'm a songwriter. I've even written jingles. You can't get a song out of your head. Advertising agencies spend billions a year on jingles so that you will always forever have Vegemite in your head. That's why Australians love something everyone in the world thinks tastes
the worst
disgusting. And I have it every day.
Ever, by the way. I have had it. It was brought to me from Australia. I tried it on a piece of toast and I said, this tastes like solid baby formula. I will never eat it again. And that's just my take on Vegemite, I'm just going to say.
Well, we love it because
not for everybody.
We sang the Vegemite song, which I can't sing probably for copyright reasons on your show, but I'm sure that's why every Australian loves Vegemite. We all love it. Anyway, I can eat it by the spoonful. But anyway, so I said, I'll sing it. So I got someone to get me a blank tape. I always had a little cassette player with me so that I could, when I got a song idea, it didn't get spat out and it would, I'd sing the song onto a tape recorder so I wouldn't forget it when I got a nice songwriting idea, melody. And so I just started singing, I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend, over and over and over again until it filled the cassette up. I listened to that nonstop while I was in the hospital. My attitude changed. Everything changed. I went on to have miraculous healing. I still got steel plates, and I thank God for the doctors that are so amazing in Australia for all the work that they did on me. But it just changed. I had no intention of putting this out to the public, Colleen, little affirmation songs. But I did go into a studio with a couple of the guys from my band and wrote maybe 20 more affirmation songs just for us, just for our consciousness. I had no intention of releasing them. They weren't full on, 36 track recording studio productions, but they were still pretty good because I always like my productions to be good. But what happened was journalists found out about my healing because I was a singer in Australia. They thought it'd be an interesting story. And then because I was on TV and in magazines and stuff about this magical healing, then promoters were coming to me and saying, we want you to sing your affirmation songs at this event, at these events with Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Stuart Wilde, Bob Proctor, blah, 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 Louise Hay. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Why would you want that? Because you'll bring in more people. It'll be a different thing. The seminars have about 3,000 people per thing. Will pay you a lot of money. I couldn't believe they were going to pay me per gig more than I'd ever made in a year as a singer. And you can sell your CDs at the back of the room. And I was like, okay. And so I made 500 CDs. And the very first gig I did in Adelaide, Australia, they sold out by lunchtime. So they'd have me sing these affirmation songs in between. I'd get the audience up on stage and everyone would be singing. Lyrics would be up on the stage. And before I knew it, people all over the world were requesting me, And Deepak Chopra said, you've got to go to America. They're going to love this. I didn't know who any of these guys were, but that's how that happened.
That's beautiful. And I want to go back to something you said that maybe someone didn't take and anchor it into a learning lesson today of what you said, which was you can repeat over and over and over again the auto suggestion, which is what is from Napoleon Hill's book. And if you haven't read the book, go get the book. I highly suggest that to everyone. I read it once a year, like the Bible. I just keep rereading it over and over again. I teach a lot of the principles that come out of that book as well. Michele said she listened to it, but it wasn't working because she spit it out because it wasn't hitting her subconscious because she didn't believe it. She would say it, she would listen to it, but she didn't believe it. It's the number one thing is belief. If you don't believe it, it'll never happen. If you believe it, anything can happen. Do you believe that, Michele, in your life? Anything that you believe could happen can happen if you believe it.
Yeah, if you take action as well.
Yeah.
Like I took action and wrote this song, but you don't actually have to believe it with my music because, as you said earlier, this has been proven scientifically. It goes 300 times faster into the subconscious mind. You don't have to believe in Toyotas or cat food to have that jingle in your head forever, or Vegemite. You don't have to believe it. It just happens. Millions upon millions of people globally have done my songs in many, many different languages. And they're just, Magnet to Money song is now being put into a 12-inch dance mix by this big producer in the UK. And I wrote that song 30 years ago. So it works because you listen to it. And before you know it, you're sort of not taking money so seriously or yourself so seriously. And your oscillation, your frequency, everyone has that, whether they believe it or not. It's not woohoo. It's been scientifically proven. We have a vibration in our brain when we meditate. When we think positive thoughts, there's a different frequency. When we hear positive music that we love to dance to, for me, it's 70s disco.
Oh, me too, girlfriend.
Well, then, shake my booty. I will do that. You just feel good immediately. And people don't understand how quickly they can change their directory in life to something positive and then when you do believe it, because it's in your subconscious mind then, so you do believe it.
Yeah.
Then because your frequency goes up, ideas come to you that you never could have formulated before, because now you're oscillating at a frequency, you're resonating with positive reinforcement. You're a magnet to positivity. Opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't see, or you were too scared to take action on, show up. And then you don't even think about should I or shouldn't I? You just go for it.
For sure. So someone feels like complaining. They feel like blaming. They don't know how to get out of that my business isn't I'm not where I should be. I'm not as successful as I should be. Things aren't going the way I thought they would go. And I'm stuck or whatever it is. And then they start blaming, oh, well, it's because I hired that person and they didn't help me. And then they're complaining about this person. What would you give them as a quick lesson or a tip immediately? What shifts that for somebody?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because this is one of the most positive things you can do for yourself. Now, the reason somebody complains or blames is because they are in fear and they want to take the light off their own fears and their shadows and put it somewhere else so that they can reflect somewhere else, because they can't. The fear that they're feeling about their inner self and their self-confidence or lack of self-confidence is creating a wall around them. So they have to, eat too much pizza, watch too much TV, anything but to look within. And so I say to people, the reason you're complaining is because you're in fear. Now, what you've got to do is find out why you're complaining. What are you afraid of losing that you've got? Or what are you afraid of not getting that you actually really want? That's usually, if you can find out what that is, once you can pinpoint and find out what it is you're so afraid of, because that's the reason you're complaining and blaming, well, then you release it, because you've opened the door to release it, because your fear may still be there, but now you've named what it is, you can do something about it. And now there's an exercise that you can do that I teach all the time, and it's very, very simple. For 21 days, you do not complain for 21 days. And then you'll find anytime you complain after that, you'll stop yourself. And this is how you do it. Say you're in the middle of doing a complaint. Oh, boy, that guy was just terrible. I don't like the way he did the fences. He could have done better. Why did I hire them? They charge. Oh, I'm complaining. Why am I complaining? The fences are actually really good. I'm just trying to find fault where there isn't any fault. You stop yourself. As soon as you stop yourself complaining, mighty power comes through you. You oscillate at a faster frequency straight away, because that's mindfulness. You've become mindful of the fact that you're complaining. And if you can do that for 21 days, the first time I did it, on the 20th day, many, many years ago, the 20th day, I complained. And I started again from day one so that I could go all the way to 21 days without one complaint. And it changed my life. And anybody I know who has managed to do this, because it's tough, you realize, oh my goodness, I am terrible. I complain, I'm horrible. And then when you realize, oh my God, you can start knucklehead, just, laugh at yourself, put a clown nose on and just get over it and forget about the past. So that's my advice.
That's beautiful. And I know, Michele, you have so many wonderful gifts for all of our listeners today. All you have to do is go to micheleblood.com/leap. And there's a whole list of some free ebooks, the Power of Affirmation albums. There's free downloads. And her latest powerful apps are the Magnet to Money app, which is magnettomoneyapp.com, and the Manifestation video, which we have below as well, which is manifestationvideobook.com. So, Michele, you want to speak to any of those?
Well, the Manifestation video book is the greatest product I've ever done. My team and myself. The best. And it's the world's first. No one's ever done it before. It is, I wrote this book called Manifestation Through the Power of Mysticism. And then I did the audio version, which I always do. And then I was like, this would be great to have as videos. So we started putting together all these positive images. So you listen to my voice speaking each chapter, and you're looking at all these positive images of what I'm talking about, which cover intuition, how to make money through so many different things, just every topic under the sun to do with success and spirituality, but not religion, spirituality, metaphysics, to assist you, meditation and what true intuition is and how to make a decision and all these different things. And then at the end of each chapter, there's one of my affirmation songs that goes with that particular chapter, a music video.
Oh my
And so,
gosh, so
people
much
are
fun.
raving on, and some of my best friends that are also best-selling authors have said, this is the only way to do books from now on. This is incredible. So you don't have one moment. People love watching things. People get very bored very quickly. People love watching things. People used to love reading. Then they were like, I'll just listen to the audio books, but they're not really listening. They're doing other things at the same time. With a video book, you can't stop watching it. And all these images, you don't have one moment of a doubting mind. You don't have one moment of, isn't this boring? You are taking it all in. And so you are learning and getting all of this light into you and this information so quickly. And it's fun.
Beautiful. So you can go to manifestationvideobook.com, and don't forget to go get all of your free gifts at micheleblood.com/leap. Michele, thank you.
Thank you,
for being
Colleen.
an amazing guest of today's show. We loved having you here. You just light up the time that we have together. Thank you for singing and bringing that to us today. There's so much more of that, everyone. Just go to micheleblood.com/leap. And I'm going to leave you with this. You're the only you that's ever been, and you're the only you that's ever going to be. We have a finite time on this earth. So I love what Michele has done and taken a time in her life that nearly ended her life, that could have totally taken her off onto a different path of her journey. But instead, she decided to really utilize that time to heal herself. If you believe, it will happen. And everything she's produced since that point is giving you the tools for you to do it too for your life. No more blaming, no more complaining. You have been thrown down a challenge from Michele Blood today for 21 days for you to go without blaming or complaining. And it starts today. Michele, thank you so much for being a guest on
Colleen.
today's
Thank
show.
you very much for your great show.
All right. And to all of you, don't forget, until next time, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.